All right, this episode is all about saving money, and a great place that we all love to save money is with our food. So I brought editor-in-chief Susan Spencer in from Women's Day to help us with some really great tips. Thanks, Susan, for being here.
Thanks so much for having me.
You're like an alum on the show.
I know.
I feel like you've been back, and I love it. So this is great tips because it all has to do with your freezer.
Your freezer, exactly. You never would think that this silly little appliance would save you so much money.
I know.
It really actually does.
So starting with, I see broccoli.
Yes, you see broccoli.
Yes.
So frozen foods are your best friend, and they're really a good way to save money. So first of all, frozen foods are picked at the peak of ripeness.
Okay.
So they're very, very good for you, extremely nutritious. So there's a nice health angle here as well. But they also cost a lot less. So if you just compare broccoli, your friend, fresh broccoli is about $1.99 a pound, whereas frozen is about $1.25 a pound. And you're not losing anything in terms of flavor, and as I said, it's actually a little bit more nutritious.
Which
as
is
well.
so good, because legitimately right now in life,
Right.
if you open my refrigerator, I haven't had a broccoli from last week that we didn't end up using, but when it's frozen, it stays.
Exactly. And also, I think vegetable manufacturers are putting out really, really yummy things that kids actually really like. So these veggie tots are particularly delicious.
And they're from cauliflower, by the way. I was like, my kids will eat it. It just looks like fried and good.
Exactly.
My kids will do it. So good frozen veggies, the way to go. Save some money that way. Love it.
Right.
All right, up next is what, bread?
Well, bread, I mean, this is something that is often on sale, but if you buy a couple of loaves and stick them in the fridge or leave them on the counter, they're going to go moldy. However, you can, again, put them in your freezer, and that'll save you money because it'll extend the life of the bread. But our tip is to actually split them. So if you buy English muffins, split them. If you buy a beautiful loaf of artisanal bread, slice it and put the individual slices in the freezer, and you just pull them out whenever you want a piece of toast.
So easy. That's so great.
Right. And there's lots of other ways to extend the life of food. My favorite tip is has to do with fresh herbs. So these cost about $2.50, $1.99, something like that. And I don't know about you, but I always end up using one sage leaf, and the rest goes bad. So when they're starting to maybe look a little bit not so great, you chop them up and mix them with a little bit of olive oil, and just put them in a regular ice cube tray. Stick them in the freezer, and then you can just use them in soups or stews or in dishes, whatever you want to do.
That's so smart. I love that.
Another thing that's super expensive at the supermarket, and you should always buy them in the bulk bin, is nuts and nut flours. And they actually have a tendency to go rancid if you just leave them out.
Okay.
So we suggest keeping those in the freezer, extends their life, and again, they'll last a lot longer.
Love it.
So you won't lose money that way.
Keep it frozen. I know my freezer's a little nuts if we were to open mine at home right now. So your next tip is probably my favorite because it just kind of like makes me feel better about life. Like a little bit of control.
Control and organization is key. So you can do all of these things, but if you have a freezer that looks like a black hole, like mine does, then you're not going to save any money because you won't be able to find anything.
And we're terrible. I'll save a little thing of meat and just wrap it, saran wrap, and put it in a bag and just freeze it. And I'm like, I don't know how long that meat's been there. So this literally is about to save the Cruze and a lot.
And frugality is important, and it's really good. And so we're going to help you here. So a couple of tips. First of all, you can purchase. For not very much money, these bins are about $7 to $10 a piece. You can purchase different bins, put them in, and just pile things in here, which is just a good organizational tool. But you don't actually have to buy anything. You can use old canvas bags. You can use pieces of cardboard. The idea is that you want to sort of stack things in ways that you can sort of see exactly what's what. So you've got your meats together, you have your fish together, you have your vegetables together, and that will allow you a certain level of organization. And of course, labeling, always extremely important. These are really cute labels, but you can also just write on a plastic bag with a Sharpie, super easy.
Yep.
And another tip is when you're cooking something like a soup or a stew, and you bulk cook on a Sunday afternoon, you want to freeze some of it, put it into a plastic bag, label it, of course, and freeze it flat like this. So you can stack things on top of it. Saves you a lot of space. So
smart versus just pouring it in and it all bulks in.
Right, exactly. And then you know exactly what it is, and you know exactly when it's going to expire because you should put a date on it.
Yes.
And that helps you actually really use your freezer.
I love it.
And then just a final tip, as you put new foods into your freezer, move the old ones forward. So you've got the things you have to eat first are on the outside.
That you can see visually. Open the freezer, it's all right there. Yep. So good. And it is amazing because I'm like, the food budget, it eats up so much money.
It sure does.
And it's so easy to waste stuff. I hate to say it, I'm guilty of that. And so tips like this saves money over the long haul that you can put into your emergency fund, you guys. So great. Well, for more great tips like this, make sure to go to womensday.com or check out the latest issue on newsstands today. Susan, thanks for being here.
Thank you so much.
Fun.